The evidence seems to indicate that you're watching Dolly Vision.
Footsteps down the hall, fingerprints of the dead, cold as stone. He's got the scoop, best around town known. Dolly Vision headlines, King of Peace. Truth unravels, crackling through the heat. Lost soul shouting, echoes in the night. Rock the truth while live on air light. Topping up, Dolly Vision's dreaming real. True crime scene flash feels so unreal. YouTube madness like share, subscribe. Jack's on fire, burning the world's fire. Where's the baby missing, shadows crawl. People whisper footsteps down the hall. Fingerprints of the dead, cold as stone. He's got the scoop, best around town known. Dolly Vision headlines, King of Peace. Truth unravels, crackling through the heat. Lost soul shouting, echoes in the night. Rock the truth while live on air light.
What is up, YouTube? Good morning, all my beautiful people. It is good to see you once again. So thank you for everybody that watched my video this morning. It went down last night, okay? If you was asleep, Dolly did a late night stream. Sometimes you need to stay up to watch them, right? And Daniel, the father of Meadow, which is, Malaya's old man, came into the chat and he dropped some bombs last night. I mean, he told a lot of stuff. And some of you may have heard some of it from my video I went over this morning. Good to see you, Connie. Everybody jumping in chat. Make sure you give the video a like and all that stuff. And at the top, it's pinned up to join the channel. Okay, because when things get crazy and different people come in the room. Last night, we had almost 2,000 people in the room. And the chat was moving so fast that I couldn't see what Daniel was saying. So I had to put it on members, and I had to mod him up just so the chat would slow down and we could keep up with what Daniel was saying, telling us about Malaya. So if you haven't, think about joining up. It's cheaper than a cup of coffee for 30 days. I think it's like $1.99 or $2.99 to become a member. And trust me, you will get your money's worth here on Dolly Vision, okay, by being a member. And we don't do a lot of members only content, but sometimes we have to member up the chat and you don't want to miss anything. So, that's a good reason to become a member of the channel. Now, I didn't know, had no clue that Daniel was going to come by last night. But I tell you guys all the time that every time I discuss a case, the family members somehow find their way here. Okay. And, I put out a lot of videos on Jack and Lily, and I've been covering it since the very beginning. And I had a feeling that they were watching. And it was just crazy because I was just talking about that. And I was talking directly to Daniel saying, I know you watch. Right. And I believe Malaya is watching also. Okay. These videos that I'm doing, some of these videos have 50, 60,000 plays. And if somebody's out there talking to you and that many people are watching, you're going to watch to see what they're saying. So out of the blue last night, unexpectedly, I had planned on talking a little bit about what Malaya's family member had said about her being on the run. And Daniel comes in and he tells us that the person that's been calling in is legit. That is somebody he knows, and Malaya is on the run. She's took Meadow and left her mother's house, which this violates the CPS agreement, and Daniel is fearful that they're going to take Malaya. And if they take Malaya, not take Malaya, but take Meadow. I'm sorry, guys. If they take Meadow, he's scared that Malaya may hurt herself. Now, you know, in previous interviews, we heard Daniel say, listen, please leave Malaya alone. It's not good for her mental health or his daughter, Meadow. So to say something like that, then he must know that she has some mental health issues. You know, we've heard everybody speak out. Cousins, Daniel, the biological grandmother on the father's side. He did say that Malaya is scared of the biological father of Jack and Lily. Okay, so we learned a lot last night. And there's still people out there that don't think that was Daniel. So let me explain this to you how I know it's Daniel. Daniel has a site that we found a while back where he reviewed Pokemon cards. And it was created in, I believe, 2012. And some of the videos up there are 5 or 6 years old. When you come into my channel, there's 3 little dots on the side of your name. And I can click on those dots and it gives me an option to make you a mod, to block you, to time you out, or to go to your channel. So when he came in, I'm thinking, hey, it's a troll, right? And somebody's using his name and his icon, and they're just coming in here to stir the pot, right? So when I click on it, it takes me directly to his channel. Now, he didn't want to call in. So he did, you know, he felt like what he was telling us was going to get him in a little bit of trouble with the major crime unit there in Canada. And he had to meet with the CPS today over these visitations with Meadow. And now Malaya is on the run with the kids. So he can't even get visitations with Meadow because Meadow's not to be found. She's off with Malaya. He did say he called her and she answered the phone. Okay. And when she heard his voice, she hung up. And he's definitely, you know, believes that Malaya's mom is controlling a lot of the actions that Malaya is doing. Okay. Now, the mom, he believes the mom is the one that is turning away all the media, but the RCMP has came out and said they didn't say they couldn't talk to the media. They just told them to be really careful about what they share with the media. Not that they couldn't talk to the media. Yes, was absolutely Daniel. Yes. So, and I feel like he came in just dropping the bombs. And, you know, I knew he knew more early on when he was saying it, when he was talking to the girls from thank you so much, Connie. And I knew he knew more because he was saying, I wish I could tell everything. So I knew he was holding back, and I still believe he's holding back, that he knows more that the RCMP has maybe said to him, and he's not telling it. Now, he did say this, that everybody took lie detector tests. The first question they asked is, did you kill Jack or Lily? And everybody passed a lie detector test. So it leads him to believe that the kids are alive. And he's pretty much saying the same thing that the caller that alleges, I'm going to say alleges, that is, we know that Claire Bell has been found safe. Thank you for sharing, though. That the caller that alleges that they're kin to Malaya he knows this person and this person is legit, because there's a lot of questions, because this guy's been calling in saying things for the last couple of days, and we had no way to vet if that caller was actually legitimate or not. But now we know, according to Daniel, it is. And he says he's the cousin of Malaya, and that he don't really trust what's going on in the family right now. He believes there's some effery, I guess I'm going to use that word, and that he was going to stir the pot a little bit yesterday and call us back and tell us. And he did. He called back and he said, look, I don't know if everything's getting to him, and Malaya's scared that the police are closing in on her, but she has took off, and she has took Meadow with her, and it breaks the CPS order of apparently that Malaya can only have Meadow if she's supervised by the mother, and she's done took off from her mother's house. This stuff is heating up really fast, okay? Really fast, and a lot going on. And, you know, we always say it here. What happens in the dark always comes to light. And, you know, me and Daniel had he stayed with us for a good few hours until it got really late, till about 3:30 a.m. last night. And he was pretty forthcoming with his answers, even though a lot of us suspect him here. You know, he's still out here trying to clear his name. Now, does he have any knowledge? He says he doesn't, like far as him doing something. He says he's completely innocent of this, and that he pretty much suspects Malaya. And, you know, of course, Malaya's family suspects him. But he's not the one running. He's not the one not giving interviews. As a matter of fact, today he meets with CPS, and he's doing more interviews today. Now, you know, like I told Daniel, I said, look, Daniel, it's nothing personal. We suspect everybody. We're true crime. That's what we do. You suspect to us. Everybody's a suspect until we get some answers. And that the internet is full of speculation, right? Because if you leave a blank, we're going to fill in that blank. And it's going to be some crazy stuff. And it's going to be from anything you can think of, especially here, because we got callers and everybody calls in and gives their opinions. You know, that it could be anything. It's nothing personal. We just want answers for the children. And, you know, if he's innocent, right? And I told him, I said, you know, I'll apologize to you. I have no problem. I'm a man. If I'm wrong and you're not as suspicious as I think, and this is all Malaya, then of course I'll apologize to you. But I also told him, I said, if you're guilty of something and they arrest you, I'm going to fly my ass to Canada so I can watch you go to jail. We just want justice, no matter what that justice is. But if you didn't have nothing to do with it, you need to tell it all. You need to let the world know, because this woman's not doing nothing to protect you. If anything, she's throwing you under the bus, letting you take all the heat, all the media, all the YouTube criticism, while she lives her best life and is not looking for the children. So, and we know Daniel loves Malaya. You know, he kind of skirted around that question. And, because I asked him, I said, can you, if she goes to prison, can you accept that fact? Could you live with that? And he was like, yeah, that he would visit, him and Meadow would visit Malaya in prison. And, that's some loyalty, but you can't, we're talking missing kids here. You got to be honest and truthful and forthcoming with the information as it comes, right? You can't hold back, because every minute matters in a missing kids case, okay? And it's already been a long time. It's getting scary. But we got people on Malaya's side believing these kids are alive. We got Daniel still having hope that these kids are alive. And, he said there's no abduction. He said that himself last night. and just some of the how the story changes, right? How the story changes. And listen, here's the thing, guys. The truth, his last text, he'll see her in prison was his last text. Yeah, before he left last night. His last text was him and Meadow would see her in prison. Now it's scary because she has 2 missing kids, and now she's basically on the run with the 3rd kid, and we don't want, of course, Meadow to vanish. And look, we just had this situation where Claire Bell's mom kind of lost her marbles. Okay. They found the family dog dead. She drops off Claire Bell on the side of the road and tells her to wait. She'll pick her up. Then she leaves and tells the people, hey, I don't know what happened. I don't know where my daughter is. 3-day manhunt, and the little girl is on the side of the road. We don't want nothing like that to happen. But at this point, Malaya is making it really bad on herself. If Daniel and the caller is being truthful, it's looking really bad for Malaya, because even if they didn't suspect Malaya did, now they're probably thinking, why is this woman running? Why is she taking off with the kid? And at this moment, allegedly, nobody knows where she's at with Meadow. Now everybody's missing. Jack, Lily, Meadow, Malaya. The only person that's there is damn Daniel. I believe everybody done left his house too, because in one of the interviews he said there were 7 of us. Now there's just me. And you know, there's still people saying, hey, keep an eye on them, Dolly. Keep an eye. Listen, everybody's a suspect until there's answers, right? You know, I'm just telling you what he has said. But to me, everybody's a suspect until there's some answers for Jack and Lily and where these kids are. But I do believe he's being truthful about the situation that's going on with his child and him not being able to see Meadow. Now, I asked him, I said, hey, why can't you see Meadow? And he's saying, and we knew this anyway, before he even had to say it, that he's being accused of things. He didn't go into what they're accusing him of, but he's saying that they're over there lying on him. And since they've lied, that he has to have supervised visitations with Meadow. That's it. Because they're making up things on him. Now, I don't know if that's true or not true or whatever. You have to take it for what it is. You know, you can come to your own conclusions if you believe them or if you don't believe them. But you would think with this much infighting and you know, that side of the family pointing the finger, well, they were in the beginning, but now they really ain't said nothing. Malaya's mom ain't said nothing. And according to this side of the family, she's the evil, wicked witch that is, you know, interfering in the joint effort to find his kid because, you know, Daniel has no contact. And the crazy thing is Daniel said all the way up to 5 minutes into them out there cussing and screaming in the front yard that Malaya was hugging on him, kissing on him, and telling him, hey, I got to go with my mom. I got to go with my mom. And then after she leaves, she just basically ghosts him. And we heard family members of Malaya say, and I'm going to say alleged family member, because I have no way to really verify him, other than Daniel said he was legit, that Malaya wanted to leave. Probably a week before this. Is this a weird, crazy way of her getting away? And why? What is she scared of? And why would she hide the kids is the $1 million question, right? And you guys listen to PJ. It says, everyone to member up. That is the link if you're on an iPhone, because sometimes it don't give you the join button. And that video with his whole conversation is on members only right now. Later to this evening, I'll probably unlock it from members, but join up. Like I said, there's going to be a lot of chaos And when there's chaos, I start to lock down the chat room so we can control everything, especially when we're trying to ask somebody questions. And I was trying to tell people to stop chatting in the chat room so we could see what he was saying. And then people are just calling in, they're just chatting away. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm glad you're taking part, but when something happens like that, you need to let me get my questions out and get the answers to bring you guys the information. He didn't come in here to answer 1,500 people, right? So if there's a million people asking them questions, I'm asking them questions. You know, we need to leave it to me asking the questions. You know, and Sage, you did a good job last night trying to control the chat. It wasn't really much we could do unless we, you know, locked everybody down. And we didn't want to do that. We wanted to keep it, you know, give you a chance to call in and ask questions and stuff like that. But we got to keep it under control a little bit in the future for future references, right? When people come in the room, you guys to assist me in seeing what people are saying. If everybody's asking a question and he types something, then it just flies by. I can't even see it. I got to go back and search for it, and it makes holding a conversation. You erase so many comments. Yeah, well, we have every comment that he left. I went back, went through it. PJ saved them for me, so I was able to read everything he said to get the message correct. You know what I'm saying? And it was just really difficult last night. It was just really difficult trying to hold a conversation because, you know, the channel's delayed. So I'll say something to him, and then he has to wait 2 minutes or a minute and a half to hear it. And then you get a reply. And then you got to find the reply because by then 50 people or 100 people done commented. So it was a little bit of chaos. But I think he shared a lot. And I'm keeping my eye on everybody until there's answers. But this is really bad, looking really bad for Malaya. I mean, terribly bad. And I don't know. I just know I haven't seen very many mothers act like this, right? It's bizarre because most mothers would be out searching for their kids or being on the news and begging for the safe return of their kids. And the line saying, oh, the police told us not to talk to the media. That is not what the RCMP said. They said be careful about what you say to the media. And thank you all you guys that have been joining up. And of course, you know, Daniel said he had stopped back by, and plus Malaya's cousin said he'll fill us in as more information comes out on the situation. But he knew early today that Malaya had jumped ship and she's took off with Meadow, and that it violates the CPS papers. Why would she do this? Because, you know, at this point she has 2 missing kids and she's not listening to the CPS. They're going to take Meadow. Then she's going to not have no kids. So I don't know what type of depression she suffers from, but I still think right now Daniel's still worried about Malaya because he knows that this is coming, and he thinks Malaya will do something to hurt herself. You know, because this is a man that loves his baby's mama, and he's really concerned about her. You know, it wasn't like, I won't go visit her in prison. He's like, me and Meadow will go see her in prison. Like, he's not going to give up, or he don't want to give up on Malaya. But we truly know that things, I mean, I can't say never, but the situation with the children has to be figured out first before they're even going to be able to think about working things out in their relationship, if they're ever able to do that. Okay? He has to really, right at this point, look out for himself, because that's what Malaya's doing, you know, and her family's ready to throw him under the bus. KR is still guilty, but where's the babies? Thank you so much for your super chat. That is super nice of you. Welcome on the Dolly train. I'm not going to be here too long with y'all this morning, probably just a few more minutes, but I just wanted to share this stuff with you. And if you want to see the whole conversation, it's on my video. It says Daniel stopped by. And later tonight, it'll be off members, but for now, it's on members. So I don't know exactly what time I'm going to take it off, but later tonight it'll be off members, so you can see the whole conversation. And a ton of you guys shared the photo, and if you haven't joined the Dolly Vision group, right, we got a group that says it's tips, Lily and is it Jack and Lily? I can't remember. Jack and Lily tips and clues. It's a Facebook group. And we've been sharing everything in that Facebook group. And I will put the whole conversation up later in that Daniel said in that Facebook group. I already put up the flyer last night, and we're doing a giveaway because we want you guys to share that flyer. It's really important because according to both family members on both sides, they believe that Jack and Lily's alive and they've been hid somewhere. So a bunch of you guys shared that flyer for me last night. Thank you. If my mods, if you could post a link to the Facebook group, and I want you guys to join that. Sage just posted it right there. Jack and Lily missing tips and clues. All right. There's probably 3,000 people in that group. So definitely share any information you hear, any news clips, anything right there. If you want to discuss the case. Okay. There wouldn't be an Amber Alert right yet. Okay. Because it's not kidnapping. She has custody of Meadow. All right. She has custody. He's saying she's broke the CPS order and has took off, which is going to make the CPS take Meadow. Is what's scaring Daniel. Right. So she's on the run from the CPS, not from the police yet. Okay. Keyword is yet. I believe the police have to suspect her and possibly Daniel, especially Daniel said that in the beginning that the police suspected him. They have to, because, in a missing kid case, you have to clear the parents first. Okay. Just join. Thank you so much. New member. Thank you. All right. And that's a great way to, like I said, to keep up with all the content, especially when we have to lock the room down when it gets crazy. And I suspect it's probably going to get pretty crazy tonight again, too, especially with all the family members stopping by. We know that the biological grandmother's been leaving comments here. Daniel's been watching. Malaya's family's been watching here. So right now, we just want to control the chaos that's kind of going on, especially when it gets really crowded. Like right now, it's not. There's still a lot of people here right now. It's damn 9 o'clock in the morning. There's like 1,300 people in the room. So we got to, keep it, where we can hold a conversation with people. That way we can fill you in on the information. We just don't want to miss anything in this, and every minute in this matters. We're here for all the tea, right? That's all we want. We want answers for these kids. And like I said, with everybody talking and they have a safe place. Here's the thing, guys. And I ask this of you nicely. Even if you're suspicious of the people, all right, if they come in here, treat them respectfully. Okay. Even if you don't agree with Daniel or you think Daniel's a killer or whatever, be respectful, because if people come into the room and everybody's just attacking them, they're not going to open up and they're not going to share anything with us. Thank you, Tina G, for gifting that membership. And thank you for everybody for joining up. And if somebody gives you a membership, make sure you thank them, give them a big virtual hug. Because that's going to let you in on the chaos. Okay. That's going to let you in on the chaos. So let's treat everybody respectful here, no matter what. You know what ain't respectful? 317 likes, and there's 1,200 people in the room. That means 900 of you people out here watching did not hit the like on the video. You did not ring the bell. when you came in. I don't have your DNA. If you go missing, I'm never going to be able to find you. Okay. You got to hit that like button. It really helps spread awareness, guys. So if you want to take part and do something good today and spreading awareness, it's simple. It don't cost you nothing. It's absolutely free to hit the like on the video. Okay. It's free to leave a comment. It's free to watch the channel. Everything's, it ain't going to cost you nothing. It takes you one little movement. And trust me, that movement, you need to move around a little bit. All right. You got to keep that blood pumping and flowing through your body. You don't want to have a heart attack like I did, right? You got to keep it moving, right? Keeping it moving. And a good way to do that to avoid a heart attack is a little exercise. And that exercise is just like this. You hover over the little thumbs up button and you go click it. Okay. It'll keep you alive, right? You know how they say an apple a day keeps the doctor away? A like on Dolly's video will keep your ass alive. All right. And if not, when I see you, I'm going to chop you in the neck. Or when I end up homeless, I'm going to be sleeping on your couch. And then you're like, Dolly, get off my couch. I'm going to be like, oh, hell nah. You should have liked my video while you had the chance. So as we learn more information, we'll make sure we pass it along to all you beautiful people. Let's pray together that something breaks and that Jack and Lily is alive, because what I heard last night, there was a couple things that made me think, well, man, maybe these kids are alive. There were some things that kind of scared me when he said that Malaya took 2 of his sweaters and they may find these sweaters. And I was like, whoa, that's a little weird right there. That kind of worried me a little bit. 457 likes now. Okay, thank you guys. That kind of worried me a little bit, It may be. Thank you guys for joining. Okay, thank you guys for joining. Y'all are absolutely awesome. So that worried me a little bit, but when he said he thinks the kids are alive and that everybody passed the polygraph, that was a little bit of a relief for me. But also last night in the video that came out in the news clip, it had the searcher, the lady that's out there searching, that heads the organizer for the search that's been going out into the woods. And she said they spent 12,000 man hours searching those woods. And she believes the kids are in the woods, maybe crawled up under a tree stump or something. I mean, I hate to disagree with the lady, but there's a lot of people believing different things. The police don't believe they're in the woods. The police don't believe there's an abduction. Daniel believes the kids are alive. Malaya's cousin believes the kids are alive. This lady thinks the kids are in the woods. I mean, it's hard to say. But either way, we need to get justice for these kids and find out where they are. Because it's getting to the point that every day that goes by, the odds of these kids being found safely, it goes down. I'm just reading some of your comments. Okay. I'm just reading what some of you guys are saying for a second. Oh, heck no, not in the woods. I don't believe the kids are in the woods. I believe if they were in the woods, them drones would have found those children. And since the drones didn't find the kids, I don't believe they're in the woods. And I don't believe the kids were abducted. The chances of a kidnapper being in the middle of nowhere just right when these kids get outside, I think the odds of that are unlikely. I ain't saying it's impossible, right? I've seen people get bit by a shark on the beach. So, I mean, anything's possible, right? They go messing with a shark that done washed up and get bit. I mean, it's usually think people get attacked by sharks in the water, but there's a bunch of videos of people messing with sand sharks and stuff like that getting bit on the beach. So, I mean, anything's possible, but the odds of it are very slim, is what I believe. So that don't leave but Daniel and Malaya, and I think Daniel has been covering for Malaya. I think that's why there's the inconsistencies in the story. Maybe he didn't do nothing. Now, I don't know. But I believe he loves this woman. And if you love somebody, you'll cover for him, right? And I think that he's realizing, hey, I love this woman. She's not talking to me. She's doing me dirty. And he's slowly starting to tell it. But the faster he tells these things and the faster this information gets out there, the better chances it are that we find Jack and Lily. And he got to understand how important that is. And then once these kids are found, then it's about working on your relationship and trying to figure out whatever's going to go on with you in Malaya. And the whole him not being able to see his kid, and he's having these supervised visits, and she's taking off. Maybe she's taking off because she don't want him to have these visits. And he also says the reason he believes that she left the house is because he would have knew she was lying. He would have knew. He's been around her for years, and you know how you've been around somebody so long, you know when they're lying, right? So he believes that he would have knew she was lying, and that's the reason she wanted to get away from him, so he didn't know. And I can understand that. Like I said, if you're around somebody enough, you know their habits, their patterns. And then, of course, like the grandma said, 19 months ago, Malaya acted different. And then, that's around the time that Meadow was born. She had no problem taking the kids over there, seeing the grandmother. The biological father hasn't seen the kids in 3 years. But Daniel did say she is scared of the biological father. I don't know. He didn't go into the reasons why, if he was abusive or what it was. He just said that she's scared of the dead. So something changed in that, and I believe this was the birth of Meadow. And then once Meadow came into it, like Daniel said, that Meadow was her diamond. She loved Meadow to death, and she slowly started not looking after the other kids the best she could. And that's kind of crazy, but we've seen it with other parents. Leilani Simon, she loved her other 2 kids, right? And treated Quentin Simon absolutely horrible and beat him to death and threw him in a dumpster. So there's somewhere she had this disconnect, with Lily and Jack. Jackie boy is what the grandma calls him. And this is a horrible situation. I mean, it's bad. It's really bad. And all we can do is pray for the best that they're right. And it's what she don't realize. Like, if she's hid these kids for whatever godly knows reason, on one of these reservations, or a family member on another reservation, or just a friend, she's going to be in some pretty good trouble. Okay. She may take a little prison trip, even if these kids are alive, if she's done this. Okay. You're talking 12,000 man hours, helicopters. You're talking, they done probably spent $1 million searching for these kids. Debbie says Daniel is Jekyll and Hyde. Now, I think Malaya is Hyde, because that's what she's doing right now, hiding, right? Now, I think Daniel is a guy that's in love, and he's covering for his baby mama. And he knows more, and he's conflicted. You can tell he wants to talk. He wants to tell it. He wants to tell it, and he's slowly starting to. And we just got to get him to that point to where he realizes this is for the best, right? We just want the best, and the sooner you tell it, and the sooner we figure out what's going on with these kids, the better things will be. The longer this goes, the worse and worse it is for him, for Malaya, for the family, for just the well-being of the internet, right? And for far as the speculation and the accusing people and just all that, a lot of it will slow down. That when we have transparency, the internet don't speculate a lot. They still make up shit, but the more transparency there is, and the more that we know what's legit, the less mistakes we make and the less things people have to clear up, right? So if we know what's going on, I think that's the best. And, and the reason I believe we need this transparency is because, it takes a village to raise a kid. It takes a village to find a child also when they go missing. So we still, at this point, there's no proof that these kids are deceased, which is good news. Okay, that's good news. If anything, there may be more proof right now floating that these kids could be hidden. And that's the importance of why we need to continue to share these flyers of their pictures. Because if these kids are somewhere, and, from my understanding, it's really easy to cross the Canadian border undetected. Okay. I think some people say it's easier to cross the Canadian border than it is the Mexican border. And we know 11 million people flood in through our southern borders. But these kids could be anywhere, So, even though this is Canada and you're like, well, what can I do in America? We don't know. These kids could be in America. And at this point, Malaya, she could be anywhere if she's not at her mother's. And if she's taking off and running, there has to be a reason for that. Okay. And if anything, like I said, she's making things worse on herself. And slowly people are starting to side a little more with Daniel. In the beginning, nobody was siding with either one of them. But now people are starting to side with Daniel a little bit, especially since he's passed his polygraph and he's been willing to talk when the other side's not searching, not doing anything. Daniel showed up to the prayer vigil and he's not the biological father. But the mother didn't. Her mother didn't. And a lot of people, especially here, think the mother in Malaya have conspired together to do whatever's happening right now, right? That the mother and Malaya are in this together, either foul play or hiding the kids, or, a lot of people seem to think that. I try to keep an open mind to everything. Like I said, everybody's a suspect to me until somebody's arrested and we get the answers of what is going on. Okay. Polygraph is a guy that doesn't clear anyone. I understand that. I watched a case last night after I finished talking to Daniel on two people that failed a polygraph test. Okay. There was this woman, she was cheating on her husband and she was hit in the head with something and thrown off a bridge. So instantly they think the boyfriend has done it because she wanted to meet the boyfriend 5 hours before she disappeared. So they arrest the boyfriend and they bring his wife down there. He's married. And this woman was in love with him, but he was married and wouldn't leave his wife. So she ends up in a frozen river in like Colorado. So they bring in the wife and tell the wife, hey, your husband's cheating on you. He has a girlfriend and this woman is missing. And we believe he's responsible. Will you take a polygraph test? Because she found out after she was missing and she said, I hope the bitch is dead. Okay, that's what she said. Right? Because she was sleeping with her husband. So they polygraph her and him, and they both fail the polygraph. So they continue to question them because when you fail, that's an indication, hey, we need to look into you more. Not that it's proof, right? So they do all this, and basically her husband killed her. He got 120 years in prison, and he killed her. And then the detectives come back and said, well, I think the woman was nervous. That's why she failed. Okay. And her husband we think he felt like it was his fault that she was murdered. Like, you know, so he failed. So they're trying to justify how these people failed a test when they were telling the truth. They had nothing to do with the death of this woman. But the police were accusing them. They failed the polygraph test and they were telling the truth. So I don't trust polygraph tests, right? Because that shows you right there, you can be honest and fail it. You can be lying and pass it. So that's why you can't use them bitches in court, because there's no way really to know. I mean, it's a good way to gauge to see if somebody's nervous when they're talking to you, or if their heart rate, you know, goes up, or any of that. And we heard Daniel say he passed it and he was nervous. That's what he said. He said, I was nervous. You know, the first question they asked me, did I kill Jack and Lily? Was the first question they asked him. They didn't beat around the bush or nothing. They went straight to the, did you kill the kids? Hey, Dolly, PJ, and Mods. CPS says Malaya has to be supervised by her mother to keep Meadow. Don't know. Yeah, well, she's left her mother's. And she's taken Meadow with her. And that violates the CPS, according to Daniel and according to her cousin, alleged cousin. And Daniel's scared that Malaya may hurt herself if they take Meadow. And I got a feeling they're going to take Meadow. It's just too much going on till they figure it out to have this baby in the mix of it. Okay? It's kind of like, you know, look, when Summer Wells went missing, you seen CPS came right in and took the boys from Don and Candace because they didn't want any other kids to go missing, at least till we figure out what is going on. And then you got the family, you got Malaya accusing Daniel of some type of, I'm assuming, and this is just a guess, he didn't say this, of physical abuse. You know, that's the only reason they would make his visitation supervised, that there's some type of physical abuse between him and Malaya. So she's probably saying he hits on me, or I don't know. I'm just guessing on that. Okay. He didn't specify. He just said they're making up shit on him. So there's no real way to know what he's been accused of, because he kind of skated around that question a little bit. You know, he did give us some pretty valuable information last night, so I didn't want to press him hard. It's the first time he's been in the chat room. I didn't want him to feel like he was coming into an interrogation, right? And that's, you know, people in the chat were kind of making it like that. Everybody's just like hitting him a question. You know, let me handle the questions, guys. When people come in here like that, let me handle the questions. And if you got a question you want me to ask, you know, just throw some stop signs in the chat or something, and don't spam the chat. And if I see it, I'll ask that question. But we want to, you know, if everybody goes at somebody, right? So how is he going to answer a question if everything's a question to him, right? We got a 660 here. That's it. We got 1,600 people in the room, and we only got 660 likes. Okay, I'm about to rage quit. I'm rage quitting. All right, my tooth hurts anyway. Bone spur in my gum. It's the craziest thing, you know. And I got to pick up my medicine. So I'm going to rage quit on you guys. But definitely go watch the video where Daniel comes in and tells all the scoop. And pray that everything works itself out. All right. And I'm sure somebody will say this video is clickbait. Okay. Everybody's just like, no, your shit's clickbait. Now they don't even watch the video, right? They don't even watch the videos before they be fucking posting clickbait. Right. My video is always informative. They're always here to spread awareness, and they're always on the topic that is Jack and Lily, if that's what we're talking about. So I don't see that the same way. So let's pray for a miracle. We had one yesterday. Let's see if we can get back-to-back miracles. I know that don't happen a lot. I didn't get a notification. Hey, Turtles. Hey, Pittsburgh Nurse. Well, I had just put out a video, and I didn't really give it time. I just went live. So Pandora, thank you. And everybody that's joining up, and definitely share these videos. Let's spread awareness. Let's do what we can to get these kids home, if that's the case. And right now, where would these kids go unless the bio dad don't want nothing to do with the kids? It looks like the bio grandmother seems to be a really good woman. Okay. Malaya's mom, according to some people, she's like the evil witch. I mean, I don't know. She could be a great woman. I truly don't know, because she hasn't came out. And as a grandmother, it's the same as being a mother, right? I would think the grandmother would be out there all over the news and all that stuff, but that don't seem to be the case. All right. And the mother not saying anything, that is crazy. The mother and the grandmother not saying anything or trying to bring any closure to this blows my mind. And that is a huge red flag. Okay. Yeah, definitely prayers for Jack. And what's Daniel saying? Well, you have to go back and watch the video, Kent. I just went over an hour of what he said, and he was in the chat room for like 3 hours last night. The video is online. You have to be a member though. It's on members right now. It'll be unlocked later tonight if you're not a member. But join up. It's like I said, it's cheaper than a cup of coffee. It helps support the channel. It helps us bring you the content that we bring you. Somebody got to pay these electric bills. Okay. Somebody got to do it. All right. So I will see you guys later today. Anything develops or anybody hits me up and tells me any inside scoop, trust me, you guys will be the first to know. All right. About to join. Thank you. Like I said, we don't have a crazy. If you join at the lowest level or lowest tier, I think it's $1.99 or $2.99. I know it's cheaper than a fucking cup of coffee. All right. And that's for 30 days. That's not a cup of coffee one day. You're a member for 30 days. So, and it's like $1 or $2. Yeah, join up. Like I said, you're going to get your money's worth. Go dig in your couch. Right. I guarantee you can at least pull out $2, right? And I'll see you guys tonight. And like I said, if it gets crazy and people come in, I'm going to have to put it on members to be able to keep up with everything. So if you want to be a part of that, and in future videos, you never know, just join up and support the channel and like the videos, and let's help spread awareness. And I can't do it without your help, right? I mean, I can. It's just a lot damn harder to do it. So I'll see you guys this afternoon. I got to run to the drugstore, the pharmacy, to get some stuff for my bone spur until it heals. It's actually really sore today. So, Jennifer, thank you. And like I said, once I do that, I'll be back this afternoon, probably about 6 o'clock. Okay. I'll see you guys around 6, unless something breaks. You never know. I might pop back in. But if not, 6 o'clock. And there may be another video later today on some other stuff. So keep your eyes out. All right. Keep your eyes out. All right. Peace.